On today's show, the guys are going back to FETC and a conversation we had with Naomi Harm. She's going to talk about best practices to encourage girls to lean into learning, empowering girls to be active in their learning, especially in STEM and STEAM. We've got an East Initiative update, and we've got a Google Tip of the Week, something we hadn't done in quite a while. That's all up next on EduTechGuys. You're listening to the EduTechGuys. EduTechGuys.com. Hello and welcome to EduTechGuys. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, downloading, taking a listen to this week's podcast.
Hey, why don't you go ahead and take a liking to us and go out to the web, to Google, and type in EduTechGuys. We're going to come up and we're going to be smiling at you, looking at you right in the face. Don't forget to go to www.edutechguys.com. You can drop down at the bottom of the page, and you can find a nice little form there to fill out and tell us how lovely we look in a sundress. I'm just kidding. But at least take a listen to us. Let us know what we can do to make your life even better.
Yeah.
And don't forget us on social media. Oh, I forgot about the social media thing. So
it is, yeah. We're everywhere.
The tweets and
the Instas and the grams
on
and
the
books.
The gram.
The gram, the books.
The books.
The ers.
The itter.
The ters. The itter. The itter.
The twit. Speaking of twits, no. Hello, welcome. I'm Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're listening to a couple of them right here, right now.
You know, school starts here in Arkansas is a week away.
Man, it's amazing to me how quickly that has come upon us.
Very quickly. I tried to chew through my arm last week through my wrist, but I couldn't, and my teeth are too dull from trying to chew out of my chain that they keep me locked in the basement.
That's right.
I gnaw on that chain when they're not looking. It doesn't do any good. I can't chew through it, but
hey, you know, at least, well, I was going to say keeps your teeth sharp, but no.
Yeah, you know, we were joking earlier. I'd sent this video from a Saturday Night Live skit to David, and it was a punk rock band playing at the guy's daughter's wedding after 25 years, and it was hilarious. And the song they sang was "Fist Fight in the Parking Lot," and I said, you know, that's pretty much the way we start school in the technology department. You know, before school starts, it's kind of like a fist fight in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Trying to get stuff taken care of. You know, it's just hectic, and tables get overturned, and, you know, people are screaming, glass breaking. You know, it's kind of like a Johnny Rotten thing with the Sex Pistols. You know, I'm trying to cut myself with a USB stick or something. You know?
I cut you with my USB, man. I cut you.
Is that a thumb drive in your neck? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Don't take it out. I'll bleed out. But
That's
leave that thumb drive in my neck.
Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah, and in this year, I work at an education service agency, and one of my summer projects this year is we're upgrading all of the teachers' machines from what they had, to something, much more up-to-date and modern. So transferring all the data and getting all of their credentials handled and all that kind of stuff. And you're like,
all I can think is the monkeys, the glass breaking and the monkeys flying.
It's exactly. I'm like, are you kidding me with this? But hey,
wow, lady.
Yeah, well, and then it'll be fist fighting in the parking lot. In fact, what I ought to do is I ought to just set all the equipment out in the parking lot and just say, go for it.
That makes me think of the Monty Python skit where it says, and now the ladies group of London, and it reenacts the first open heart surgery, and it's just ladies in their purses fighting in the mud in the field. It's like, God. That's kind of like what we'd have if we gave our staff, here's your stuff, go fight for it.
Yeah, that's right. Here, you duke it out.
Hey, it's going to be a great show today. We have Naomi Harm on the show, and this is from a previous recording we did at FETC.
Yeah.
Always have a great conversation with her, and we thought this is a really good one to take a listen to, especially getting ready for all these schools around the country and the world to get started, and I thought it'd be a pretty good show to put out.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Listen, we're going to take a listen from one of our sponsors, and then when we come back, we'll listen to that sit down we had with Naomi Harm at FETC 2019. We'll be right back after this.
I've been in education for more than 20 years, and I've seen the challenges that some students have to face every day. I mean, whether it's going to school hungry or not being able to see the doctor when they're sick, all these challenges make it hard for kids to focus on learning.
Thankfully, Concordia University in Portland is leading the way with their 3 to PhD program that helps to combat student fears, freeing them to pursue their highest dreams. They're revolutionizing education by creating a holistic model that provides groceries, healthcare, and even clothing to students right there on campus, helping them to thrive and helping our community to strengthen and grow.
Yeah, Concordia's College of Education offers online and on-campus programs where students have the opportunity to learn about a more compassionate approach to education and to see how nurturing the whole student can lead to amazing things.
Hey, to learn more about how you can help students conquer their monsters and achieve their highest dreams, visit cuportland.edu/let's conquer. #nurture, educate, grow. Welcome back to FETC 2019 in beautiful Orlando, Florida, and we have the hot seat filled right now. And we're going to let her tell us who she is and where she's from and what she does and all that kind of good stuff. So here we go.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show.
Thank
Avid
you.
listener as well, as you know.
Thank you.
My
Yes.
name is Naomi Harm, and I am joining you from beautiful Cave Creek, Arizona. So I left the sunshine weather to come to some cool temps here in Florida.
I know, right?
Right?
Yeah, a little rainy and cool and breezy, and who knew it? Last year I was wearing shorts at this time, so I don't
Yeah, absolutely. And I really wanted to share the best practices today about everything about motivating girls to lean in to pursue passion-driven careers.
Okay.
And my focus is women leadership and really helping educators, whether they're male or female, but everything to empower girls to lean in and to be really activated, motivated in that learning, to have an opportunity to take that next leap into being a STEM activist. So we are showcasing everything here at this conference, everything and anything, possibilities of coding to maker spaces, to creating, to making, but how to really help us as teachers be better mentors to our girls is what our focus is.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Tell us about some of the things that you're doing here that help. Oh my gosh, I just lost the word I was looking for. But
I know exactly what you're going to say. I was going to ask you some questions. So let's dive a little deeper into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give us the top three. When you walk into a situation and you're about to do a PD or a workshop, what's the first things you let teachers know to give them a good taste of where we're headed?
Yep. To give them a good taste, I always set the stage by activating it by actually having some reflection as part of that, because I need to know what my audience, where their background is, and where we're going to be going on that journey.
Okay.
So I usually actually do an anticipatory set to really find out what are they passionate about when it comes to women in leadership.
Right.
What do you know it works in the classroom, but how do you get girls to lean in to be part of that conversation or have leadership taking place in their classroom? And then we'll model an actual collaborative learner-centered focused activity. And then part of that as well is now what can we do of what you feel comfortable with and take it to a next level to differentiate it, to apply to all girls and boys in the classroom, to really have a really learner-centered environment to get girls to step up to the plate. Because you mentioned earlier, sometimes some of us when we speak, we're kind of quiet, kind of passive. Some of us are very loud, very proud, very honored to be educators. And we all have a different demeanor in which that we impact that learning space with others. So we want to make sure that everybody has a voice and choice in that act of learning.
Do you find a lot when you get into an educational situation, a school district or even a classroom, that they don't know what they want first, that they don't know what they're looking for, so you have to help them understand that these are the possibilities?
Yes. There's so many times that teachers will say, I want to know what it looks like, what it feels like, and almost like what it smells like and tastes like, because they need to be that close to it. And what they find is that they just have not experienced it. So they're looking for examples. So a lot of times when we come in to do professional development, we provide those teachers all kinds of examples. What does it look like on the East Coast versus the West Coast? Or if I go internationally to South Africa, or if I go over to Toulouse, France, what are we doing that's different to impact girls? So when we look at that overall situation, we usually do a backwards design though too. We are embedding heavily with the ISTE standards, looking at learning outcomes. What do I want the learning to look like and feel like, and how can I replicate it? But let's look at some best practices. Another great resource that we include, I'm originally from the Midwest, I'm a very proud Midwest girl here, but I love Psy Girls that's from Minnesota, and they give examples of, they're called mentor profiles, and the more that we can model and show girls in general and young female students what women of today, their possibilities of what they look like if they are a biochemist, if they are the latest and greatest coder or programmer out there, or maybe they're that next bicycle engineer. Yes, there is
Right.
such a thing. There's a bicycle engineer.
Sure.
So it's amazing the possibilities are out there, but our girls at times think, well, maybe that's really a guy's job
Right.
or a male job. There's still that stereotype.
Sure.
So we're trying to provide access and opportunity, that possibilities can be anything you can pursue based on your genuine and personal interest.
Yeah, I know that we're losing the majority of our girls in science and math, even as young as the third grade.
Yes.
And we've got to figure out a way to make them understand that, listen, we would have gone to the moon if it wasn't for women.
Exactly.
You know, and that this is okay to do this, but and I bet that's a hard barrier to break. It seems like even going into some of the smaller schools would be even harder than the larger schools in larger cities.
Yeah, it truly is. And when you look at the research right now, which you had mentioned, there is a drop off between that third and fourth grade. And that critical factor, what we're seeing is sometimes limited support in the home environment. Sometimes limited curriculum resources or ideas of examples showcased in the school. But then we see a greater drop off when it comes to be to 8th or 9th grade. And what do you think are critical factors why girls would drop out when they're 14 or 15 years old?
Well, a lot changes at 14 and 15 years old
Yes.
across the board.
It does.
I have two girls. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm
And
talking
they're
about.
grown. There's like one's in
Right.
college and one's in master's doing
Right.
undergraduate work. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah. And the research where it shows, which I just find it's fascinating, because at that grade level, girls are now introduced to kind of going into that high school realm. Okay. There's boys, the influence of boys. Also, it is the stereotype that if girls are really good at math and science, they are still considered to be geeky or nerdy.
Yep.
Some
Right.
teachers or some students love to be a geek or a nerd. I can say I'm a tech nerd. I'm okay with that. But some girls still do not like to have that type of, we'll call it that hat that they wear.
Yep.
They don't want to have a tech hat or a nerd hat on. And the other thing is, it's that competition of, do I choose psychology course over an AP chemistry course? And a lot of our girls, the way our brains are wired is we love the detail and the organization. And when you study psychology, because that's usually the counterpart of the AP chemistry or AP biology class, they want the psychology because they want the humanistic and emotional side of understanding of how our brain thinks and how we learn and how we interact with people.
Right.
So we got to make those STEM classes more humanistic and have an emotional component to resonate with what's the real world practice to impact how I learn today and how I, as a woman educator, can impact the world tomorrow.
Right. You know, and that's interesting. I can see the social element playing into this really heavily there, because when they hit high school is when the cliques start to centralize. And you're right, that's the geek group, and these are the cheerleaders and the dancers for the drill team, and here's the band kids.
Right.
And STEM and STEAM, they offer this opportunity for us to fix that social element, and especially for girls.
Right.
Because it's very competitive.
It is.
It is. It becomes competitive in the ninth grade, even more than junior high, because everyone was friends, and now it's kind of starting to hone in, which it's been doing that for ages.
Yeah.
But that's something we really have to look at now. I can see that.
We
Yeah.
do. And then when you had mentioned earlier as well, when we see there's a little bit of a drop off between third and fourth grade, and that's a lot of times because we do a really good job as pre-K or preschool teachers through about fourth grade with a thematic unit approach.
Okay.
What we're seeing is the curriculum change between elementary and middle school grade levels, and they're dropping off some of that thematic unit approach or project-based learning. And when that happens, the curriculum is not as cohesive. Now they see that math is separate, science is separate,
Yes.
and literacy
Okay.
is separate. We need to bring that whole learning approach back together, even for middle school, high school. So our younger kiddos, what they're seeing also, they get into middle school, we don't have as many as women teacher mentors. So if you look at nationwide, the population, there's a slight drop off that there's more male teachers sometimes in some areas. At the high school, there's a big difference. There's more male teachers than female nationwide. Because of that, our girls are lacking those mentors, such within STEM in general. That's why if we can give more opportunities for girls to connect nationwide with experts in the field, like the Psy girls from Minnesota, all kinds of different other types of portals. I know another great site is careervillage.org. It's out of San Francisco. It's brilliant. It's done well where girls or boys can ask men and women in the field, what does it take and what are the different types of classes should I take if I really want to be a biochemist, or if I want to be a registered nurse, or if I want to be a veterinarian. I love the Career Village in general because you're working with authentic individuals that are educators, people from the field, from Intel Education. I'm a mentor in there as well as many others, and that's my give back. So when I have my cup of coffee in the morning, I go online to Career Village, and there's questions that are posed according to a tag I follow for women leadership. I go out and that's my give back of 15 minutes to help mentor a child to find a passion and to help them pursue what they're really interested in, because they may not be getting that in the home or at school.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I really hadn't given it much thought until this conversation in terms of male versus female instructors in the sciences in particular, because that's what kind of resonated with me. And so as I look back, I can remember some of my science instructors, some of them made an impact, but the majority of the ones that I think of were the females, the women who were teaching the science classes who, and I mean, it's really weird to kind of flash back, but not just in high school, but even in my early college days, because they humanized the content that we were learning. It wasn't just, this is physics and here's what's, here's, A plus B and this is the force over the mass and blah, 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 and all the other stuff.
Correct.
But when they related it to, something that was not just tangible physically, but also emotionally or humanistically. And I mean, I can remember, especially my freshman year of college, I had a biology teacher, and she was phenomenal. And that's exactly what it was. Anything we were learning, she related it to some human aspect of how this could, what we're learning here and how this ties to what's going on, and bridging that emotional gap, and I just think it's amazing that it took me this long to put that two and two together, but to help understand, when we're losing girls, when we're losing young women to science and math. You think about what happens in a lot of the high school classes and college classes. It turns, those types of things become very just rigid and factual, and here it is, and this is the way it is, and you lose that the yes, there's application, but not necessarily that human emotional connection.
That's right. A really quick fix to help our students to be more empowered to take some of these AP classes, whether it's chemistry, biology, engineering, and things like that in the high school. I worked with a high school teacher at Napa, in Napa, California, and he says, my enrollment is down in my AP classes, but the girls, again, the psychology classes were up. So he looked at rewriting the parts of the curriculum, but what he was doing is bringing in a mentor or an expert per week, even just 15 minutes of a Skype or a Google Hangout or a Zoom video.
Yes.
It made the world of difference. And that's what it is. We need that. Again, it's a whole world approach. We talk about a whole child approach to learning. It's a whole world approach to learning, and bringing in from the outside in to make it, again, very humanistic for our girls.
Yeah.
So it's those simple changes that can make a big difference.
Well, and in today's day and age with the technology we have available to us, it is so easy to Skype or Hangout or Zoom somebody in from anywhere in the world and bring that person into your classroom. They may be in England and it's 6 hours later, but guess what? We work out the timing on that, and now they are talking with someone who's halfway across the world about this particular subject or potential career opportunities that go with that expert that they're talking to. It's amazing. It
is
really
amazing.
is. Yeah.
So let's talk a minute about innovative educator consulting.
Okay, Innovative Educator Consulting is my proud company that I must say it's run by a group of women from the Midwest. We train nationally and internationally with K through 12. And our goal is to empower, to inspire, and to motivate K through 12 educators and students with everything with ed tech. So our large focus right now is we do a lot with the next generation science standards, the large movement of maker spaces, coding, engineering, design, and design thinking. So we've got a really great kickoff right now in the Midwest that has been in great attendance for teachers and students and parents to come together on Saturdays. We call them engineering derbies.
Oh, cool.
So we have designed essential challenges for kids of all ages, and they usually come between 3rd grade and 9th grade. Our older kids are helping our younger kids. Our younger kids are actually helping our older kids.
Sure.
It's pretty awesome. But we're doing it as whole instruction, meaning that we are bringing in parents, teachers, and students together, learning as teams. And as part of that, those individuals that come to those Saturday events can now be the new peer leaders going back into the classrooms, because there's no way our teachers can know everything about technology, and our parents don't know everything about technology.
Right.
But we're engaging our kids to be excited about learning, fulfill a passion that they may not have known otherwise, and then take back that new learning to the classroom. And again, the makerspace movement is another essential opportunity, because you're using at least 3 different sensory motors when we think about that, from tactile, from hearing to feeling to just interacting and making. And because of those sensory motors that we're using, that really engages girls, because girls are actually better at multitasking than boys are. It's just the way that their brains are wired and connected.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll vouch for that.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it allows our girls to have an opportunity to lead and lead more often. So again, to get the girls up at the 3rd and 4th grade level, we need to find opportunities that girls can lead or co-lead. And I call that as dynamic duos or transformative trios. You know, it doesn't ever have to be that they have to be the single Lone Ranger and they have to do everything. Well, no, let's truly model the collaboration of what we can do as a team to get a remarkable end project that you can create.
That's really awesome.
Absolutely.
So if our listeners want to find out more, and what's website, social media, email, what's the best
Oh,
way?
absolutely. They can just go to naomiharm.org. My Twitter handle is naomiharm.org. LinkedIn is naomiharm.org. So everything is kind of back to my original name, which
That's
is
awesome.
great. But we're here to help and to model what we have found and discovered, supported with research best practices to motivate girls to lean in to pursue passion-driven careers in STEM.
Well, this is awesome. And thank you for stopping by and sharing this with us.
Yep, thank you for the opportunity, and it's always a pleasure working with both of you.
My name is Constance Clark, and I am the facilitator for Park View Manic High School in Little Rock, Arkansas.
And I'm Ty Bibby from El Dorado High School. I'm a first-year facilitator for East.
I am as well. We are going to basically talk to you about some tips of not giving up as your first year as facilitator.
And some of our experiences as a first-year facilitator.
All right, so my tip, the first thing would be is not to give up, because there are going to be tons and tons of struggles, and you're going to feel like, you know what, I cannot do this. But please don't give up, because in the end, it will pay off, especially when you go to East Conference and you see all the work and the success that your students have done.
One of my biggest struggles was coming from a structured classroom and into a not really unstructured classroom, but it was different. I had to learn classroom management all over again.
Oh, okay. So those are a couple of our tips that we give, and we just say once again, don't give up, keep going, and have a blast in East.
And find you
A buddy, because you're gonna need her. We met at Phase Training, and when we were there, we just started communicating with each other, and then all of a sudden there was a pop in my inbox on Facebook. Hey girl, it's Ty. And I was like, hey.
Connie was a big resource for me this year.
Why, thank
When
you.
I didn't contact Brenda, my site coordinator, I contacted Connie.
Hey, thank you so much to the folks over at East Organization through the East Initiative and providing the update, really cool update this week.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was different. April Jackson had written us and said, hey, this is going to be a different one this week.
Yeah.
And boy, it was. It was really cool. I like the way they changed their format up a little bit.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. Hey, listen, hope you have a great rest of the summer, what's left of it. Those in Arkansas, you got about a week. So
yeah, that's right. Enjoy it while you can. But one of the things before we take off out of here.
I forgot. It's that time for
I know.
Can I sing it now that you're going to
Yeah, you can.
So this week
it.
it's the Google Tip of the Week. There you go, Matt Dozier. That's for you.
That's right. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a Google Tip of the Week, and this one is probably one that a lot of folks may sort of know about. That is, whenever you send an email from Google Mail, from Gmail, as soon as you hit send, there's a little undo thing that pops up and usually lasts about 5 seconds where you can change your mind within that first 5 seconds. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, usually it takes me a little longer than 5 seconds to realize, oh, whoops, maybe I shouldn't have sent that, or maybe I realize now I misspelled something or whatever. You can actually go into the settings. So if you go over to the gear, when you're logged into Google Mail, go to the gear on the right-hand side and go down to settings. On the very first general page that comes up, it's probably about about 2/3 of the way down or so on your screen. You'll see the undo time on there. And it's an option. You can even turn it off if you don't want the undo feature. But in addition to that, you can click the drop down for the time, and you can actually change it from 5 seconds. I think it'll do 5, 10, 20 and 30. So you could have up to 30 seconds. So I'm
going to need that because I cry a little bit and I get a little distracted. So I have to stop crying and fix the.
There you go. That's right. But yeah, so you have control over the undo send time in your Google Mail.
But remember, if you do that and you set it to 30 seconds, then when you're talking to someone, go, hey, I'm sending it to you right now. You should have it. Well, it's going to be 30 seconds after you send it.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because Google's going to hold on to it for that 30 seconds.
And 30 seconds is a long time. Yeah, because trust me, it's a long time. So, hey, listen, we've had a great show today. I hope you like the Google Tip of the Week. We'll be out there in some places live. Just watch the website. We'll start dropping those out probably once we start the regular school year shows.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll let you know where we're going to be. We've already signed up, I think, for 6 appearances for this next year.
Yeah, we're going to be busy. Yeah. Lots of conferences. A lot of really cool conferences.
Yeah.
Some of them we've been to before, some we haven't. So looking forward to that.
Hey, listen, I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to the EduTech Guys, edutechguys.com.